Hey guys, welcome to my S11 items for Camille mid guide. This guide will go over all you really need to know about the upcoming season. It's very much similar to last season in how she builds TLDR. If you are just here for a quick understanding, you pretty much just go Triforce, rush your Sheen. It's even easier to buy now, it's 700 gold. Get your Hydra, Death Stance, Sterox is generally good if they have a lot of magic damage. Ma. GA is a good last item, second to last item, because Revive's pretty OP. There's a lot of 80 carries as well in the game. Chemtech getting on the Executioners if they have a lot of healing. Get this, if they have so much CC, they'll stack you out, right? You can go Merc Treads for CC/AP, Lucidity Boots for tempo, and Plated Steel Caps. This is the old Tab Eyes against a lot of AD. That's pretty much all you need to know. It's very similar to last season for sure. There's not really any other viable build as strong as the items I gave you. If you just follow this build, you will have no problem climbing. You cannot blame it on the items. Camille is definitely broken this patch. She's, I want to say, one of the best top laners, if not the best top laner to play right now. Triforce benefited her so much, and she's just a monster. Did I say top laner? I meant mid laner. My bad. She's one of the best mid laners to play right now. Triforce making her just so good. We'll talk about that in depth later. So let's first go over the three main options that I originally thought about at the start of the season. She's either going to go Triforce, Gore Drinker, or Divine Sunderer. I'll explain why Triforce is way better than these two. This is pretty much the old, this is kind of like Triforce and Ravenous Hydra infused, because it gives a bunch of health, it gives CDR, it gives attack damage, but it also gives the Ravenous Hydra active. Now, the issue with this item is you cannot build Sheen alongside this. That's pretty much the only reason why this item is outclassed by Triforce, right? You also don't get attack speed, and every other, also ability haste isn't as, it's not as effective as attack speed, right? It grants all other legendary items 5 ability haste. That's not as effective as attack speed, right? Camille likes CDR for sure, don't get me wrong, but she's not a champion that craves it to function like Ezreal. She can get away with having low CDR, oftentimes sitting on 10%, 20% ability haste is going to be totally fine. She just needs stats, she needs lifesteal, she needs Sheen proc, right? And this doesn't have, it's missing one of those, right? It's also giving you too much of ability haste. Same with Divine Sunderer. I know this is bugged, but this item functions very similarly to Triforce. The problem is that it gives ability haste rather than attack speed. So when you build this item, or this item I should say, you're given literally no attack speed. And the items that you build afterwards don't give attack speed either. So you're left on 0 attack speed. And that feels really bad as Camille, who's a melee champion, primarily wants to be autoing you to death. So not only that, but the components for Triforce are just so easy to buy. Same with Divine Sunderer. I have to admit, Phage, Sheen, this is pretty much the old components for Triforce. They both have really easy build paths compared to last patch, especially considering how cheap Sheen is, right? Sheen is the exact same except without mana or CDR, which is totally fine. She will gladly take off 350 gold for just the Spellblade passive, as that's the only reason why you get it. The CDR and the mana, they were nice, but you can just go biscuits and you run out of mana never. So you first buy Sheen pretty much every game. There's literally no reason to go anything other than Sheen. It is so strong. You guys know how strong it was at 1050 gold, right? You don't even use the CDR and the mana are not combat stats, and you'd still want to go Sheen for most of the time or go Hydra, but you can no longer go that. If you go Iron Spike Whip, you will no longer be able to build Triforce. That's another downside. My original plan was to just always go Iron Spike Whip and never upgrade it for the Crescent active. That's pretty much the old Hydra, right? However, you cannot do that. So with that being understood, you just go in Sheen. It's just Sheen. It's just Sheen Kingdom right now. You can still start Longsword 3. That's still what I'm doing. It's still very effective, but unfortunately you cannot go Iron Spike Whip. Sheen is king right now. It is so strong, it's so effective. The best buy is to just get Sheen refillable, and when you get that spike, it's so hard to play against Camille because she just gets so much out of it. So yeah, I'll pretty much, you can, like, another thing is, right, this item is more effective against tanks. If you don't know what it does, it's pretty much Triforce, except more ability haste, and it gives 10% bonus damage to max health. It gives, 10% of the target's max health as bonus damage every, like, 1.5 seconds. So another Spellblade kind of ability. So that seems really good against tanks, but Camille doesn't really struggle against tanks as it is. She has a true damage Q that does upwards of, 600, 700, 800, 900 true damage against any target because it's true damage. So she doesn't really need extra damage against tanks. Now, on top of that, you also get the extra, like, damage. You pretty much have another Conqueror with the Swift Strikes. It's pretty strong as they stack together really well. You just slice through everybody right now on this patch. Tanks, squishies, bruisers, it doesn't matter. You just slice them up. The best part about this patch is how cheap Triforce is too. You feel like 400 gold isn't that much until you've played on this patch. Like, 400 gold is a lot more gold. You can get Triforce way faster. Not having to be on the map for another 400 gold is very substantial, especially when the game is decided very quickly, right? Getting this Triforce spike ASAP feels so good. Before, you could sit on the 3 components for Triforce, and then, you do a lot of damage, right? You got your Spellblade proc, right? It didn't really feel that much difference from going from Triforce to components. On this patch, oh my god, you can definitely feel it. When you have Triforce, you want to get it ASAP because it's so strong. So yeah, we're gonna go Triforce every game. Every game you just rush it. It's too good to not rush. Before, you could go sometimes Sheen and then finish your Hydra, but this is just so strong to rush into pretty much every situation. The only situation I'd probably rush this is if I needed the extra sustain, and I also felt like I wouldn't be one shot. The problem with getting this is you don't have any bonus health, so it's scary to go Hydra first, right? Or like if I built Tiamat first for extra wave clear, and then I recalled with enough gold to finish Hydra, then I'd go that. But you should definitely prioritize Triforce. There will be situations where Hydra will prove to be better, right? As I explained, if you need the Omnivamp works on her abilities now too, which is kind of nice, and it also gives ability haste, which is not that bad, right? The only issue is you're left really squishy, and you're missing out on the Spellblade damage. So if you go Sheen, you have Tiamat, you need to sustain Hydra. Hydra's your man. But in 90% of the other games, Triforce is what you're looking to get. Triforce is just kingdom right now. So after you get Triforce, right, or if you rush Hydra, you just rush the other one. So you go Triforce Hydra or Hydra Triforce. Hydra, as I already talked about, 20 ability haste, right? You get 30 ability haste with this build. So you have insane amount of CDR already, building your 2 core items. You get 15% Omnivamp, which is just the old spell vamp pretty much, but it's with everything. It's with attacks, with W, with abilities, with everything. You get the wave clear, which is another thing that Camille needs, right, is wave clear. So sitting on the Tiamat, it doesn't hurt because you get the splash damage. Now, the problem with going Tiamat is you can't freeze. So that's another reason why you're incentivized to rush Triforce, so that you can keep freezing and accumulate advantage through freezing. If you want to know more about wave management, you should look up my other guides. After you go Ravenous Hydra, you have to assess the situation. Do they have a lot of magic damage, right? If they do, you should probably get Hex Drinker sometime on your first, second, third recall. If they have Echo, Fizz, Silas Top, Ezreal ADC or something, you should definitely rush Maw as your first item. Or not Maw, you should rush Hex Drinker as your first item. Complete Triforce, complete Hydra, then complete Maw, as their team is primarily magic damage. If they have like Jace Top, Echo Jungle, you're against Fizz, you should sit on Maw, but you can complete it second or third item for sure. If they have you also have to assess if maybe they do have a lot of AP damage, but if the threat is an AD champion, you should be going Death Dance as your third item. So Death Dance is, I don't think it can be compared to last patch Death Dance because it functions in a different way. Still gives some of the same stats, a bunch of AD, a bunch of armor, no MR though, and you also get a little bit more ability haste, right? But the uniques have changed. So Defy is a very snowbally kind of passive, right? Because what this does is it pretty much heals you from lethal if you can keep getting kills. Because 35% of the physical damage taken is now converted into a damage over time, and you can get rid of that damage completely if you get a kill. So you're pretty much cutting any physical damage by 35% as long as you can get a kill, or around 35% if you get a kill immediately. But if you take some of the damage, you're pretty much cutting like an average of 20% damage that you're taking from physical champs as long as you can get a kill, which is very easy to do on Camille, especially if you're ahead. This is a very good snowball item because you're going to be killing people often, and you can pretty much get out of so much damage that way, right? You also get a bunch of movement speed, which is nice, which allows you to get a kill and get out. Camille often has, that's another big problem Camille has. She has a way in, but she doesn't have a way out. Once you ER into somebody, you better kill them or else you won't be able to escape, especially if the enemy team is going to collapse on you. So you can get the movement speed, right? Allows you to stall for your E, and you restore one. Not only all of that, but in addition, you get 1% of your max health over the duration, over 2 seconds, which is every little bit of health matters, right? She's going to be life stealing a shit ton from Ravenous Hydra, from Bloodline if you choose to take that, from this Death Stance Defy, plus the 1% max health. She's just unkillable this patch, it feels like. She feels so good. I've been spamming her, right? People call me a Camille abuser right now. And I would be master tier by now, but I'm gaining plus 13 LP and losing 27, so that's really fun. But despite that, I'm still climbing, right? Every one of these games, right? I'm just hard shitting on my enemy because Camille, like I said, super strong, right? This is a game where I tested Divine Thunder. If I went Triforce, this would have been an easy win for sure. But yeah, this game was a remake. But yeah, every single one of these Camille games, right? 7-0, 11-0, 15-5. It feels like God mode. 21-3, right? Like I lost like one game this patch, right? And this game I threw actually. I lost this game. This game I could have easily won. 11-2, right? Look at my KDAs this game. Like I'm just dominating, right? This patch. It's so it feels so good. So let's continue on with the other items. You have your three core items: Triforce, Ravenous Hydra, and then Death Stance if they have an 80 threat. If they don't have an 80 threat, then you're looking to go Sterox next, or if they have like a lot of mixed damage, because this is only effective into 80 champions. They took out the MR viability, which I think is good. It niched the item more. Before, Death Stance was good in every situation because it gave MR magic resistance, right? Now this is only niched for 80 champs, which, not every comp will have heavy AD. So if that's the case, like I already talked about, Ma, this one's worse than the other Ma because you get no, like you get the lifesteal proc and 80 proc if you have the shield. That's no longer a thing now. But you do get the shield feels really nice though. They definitely buffed the shield by quite a bit. If they do have if they're in one of those comps like I described where they have like 4 magic damage champions, you should just get Spirit Visage as your 4th item. After you get Triforce, Rav Hydra, Ma, you can just go this and you'll be untouchable. You'll just heal a shit ton. As I already talked about, if you need damage reduction on champs with a lot of healing, or healing reduction I should say, heal cut, Chemtech Punk Chainsword is your go-to, as opposed to the old Mortal Reminder was good, but this one, it's meant for ADCs, this one's meant for bruisers. You get health, right? You get ability haste, and this is also good to go if they have like Soraka, Vladimir, a shit ton of ability of healing, because I don't know why this is bugged, it's not letting me see the item. If you go this, right, it gives 60% extra damage as opposed to 40% against targets below 50% health. Pretty substantial. I can maybe view it from here. Yeah, here we go. If the target is below 50% health, you get 60% Grievous Runes rather than 40%. So you're incentivized to finish this if they have a shit ton of healing, which is okay to get because it gives good health. The stats are really good. It's very cheap, right? It gives attack damage, it gives health, it gives ability haste. It's good to go if they have a lot of healing. We're talking Soraka, Maokai, Silas, right? You're getting this third item pretty much, right? You're sitting on the executioners, you're getting your Triforce Rev Hydra, and you can go this third item, no problem. You get health. You're not just like on the old patch. If you just rushed Mortal Reminder, you're too squishy. But this is more of a bruiser-ish item. They've niched it to be a bruiser item. You have the option. So if they have a lot of split damage, you don't want to go Maw, right? You finished your Death Dance. You're looking for a fourth item. GA is a great option. If they have a lot of burst, if they have assassins, the GA revive, super useful into that because they'll use their abilities on you and then your item will revive you. They'll have no more follow-up. They'll, like Zed will have used his entire burst on you. You'll just revive it and then be able to still function. If they don't have much burst and you're just looking to be tanky, Sterox Gauge is the answer. Sterox Gauge is insane teamfight item right now because the amount of health that you get, the shield increases for the amount of champions around you, right? The rage stacks up to 5 times, 1 per champion. Healing, that's just for range changes, but right, you get so much extra health from other champions. So that's why you get this, especially if you're looking to teamfight. It's just, you can't really go wrong with Sterox right now because even into AP 80 champs, you still get a huge shield, right? And you also get a bunch of healing from it too. You get 2% of your max health, and it increases to 10% with the amount of people around you. Obviously, a really effective item for team fights. This is an item you should get if you are non-stop fighting, which is what will happen in low elo. So your go-to build, Triforce, Rev Hydra, Triforce, Death Dance next if they have a lot of AD, Maw if they have a lot of AP. Sterox is a good third item in general if they don't have either or. If they just have a mix, I mean. Finish out with a GA as 4th, 5th, or 6th item. You can't go wrong with it. Chemtech if you need to tech for grievous wounds. And then Lichbane, right? I don't know how this got here. Oh yeah, this is a good item to get if they have a lot of CC, right? You can just chain CC, you can just go this, get out of CC, or if they have Mordekaiser, right, you can get out of Mordekaiser's thing. And then, yeah, Spirit is if they have a lot of magic damage. So, with that being said, let's go over the boots. This is the one thing I have not yet talked about. So, boots. You have 3 options, just like last patch, Mercs, Armor, or CDR. A lot of people don't understand when to go CDR and when to go a defensive boots. CDR is good to go when you're looking to impact the map as much as you can. You don't want to delay your impact by waiting another 200 gold to get this. So you can buy this when you have a good lead and you're looking to just snowball your lead, right? Imagine a scenario where your entire team's feeding and you're up 5 kills and you know that their entire team is missing sums. You got to kick into action. You got to start doing stuff. You're the carry at the end of the day. So you can't wait to get resistances, right? Especially if they have weird champions that they don't have a lot of CC, right? They're not all AD, they're not all magic damage. If they have a mix between, right, there's not one threat, everyone's kind of a threat, you can just go CDR and look to snowball the game that way. It's just like a snowball item, right? You're trying to just overwhelm the enemy with pressure. That's pretty much what tempo is. It's a harder item to understand. If you're low elo, don't think about it too much, right? It's more important that you just get stats. So I'd say 99% of my viewers just go these 2 boots, right? We're talking about Diamond Plus where tempo starts to matter more and where you should be playing for that. There will be certain games where Dorn Shield will be good to go, and we'll talk about that in the next video that I'll be doing, which is explaining runes. So if you're looking forward to that, make sure you subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you enjoyed the guide. All in all, it's pretty much the same as last patch. You just Triforce, Hydra, Death Dance, Kingdom it. Sterox comes in really handy when you are already healing a shit ton through these 2 items. This just makes you unkillable. And if you actually do die, you still have Guardian Angel to revive you. So yeah, have fun climbing with Camille. Make sure to play her before she gets nerfed, which Riot probably won't because they don't know how to balance their game. See you guys later.